Welcome to Tech Tuesday. My name is Abbie Richie. I'm the host. I'm also the founder and CEO of Senior Savvy. We're helping your residents with their tech every single day. Today, I've got a great guest. I can't wait to bring him on. But before we do that, I want to thank our sponsors, ProCare. In the care industry, if you don't have strong labor management, you don't have a business. If you aren't reaching out to a trusted HR partner,
Sorry, I've been muted. Hi, everyone. I'm popping in for everyone that's here live. Abbie froze. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. The stream will still continue. Abbie will pop back in. Let me get a second. This is actually very funny, but here's what we'll do. I'll pop back off. I'll give Abbie a call, and then we'll get the stream up and running for you guys in just a second.
Welcome back to Tech Tuesday. I seriously have no idea what happened with that tech issue, but it is Tech Tuesday and things are going to happen. Yes, great job, Jada. Thank you. If you missed it, I just want to thank today our sponsor is ProCare. If you don't, in the care industry, if you don't have strong labor management, you don't have a business. If you aren't reaching out to a trusted HR partner, you can start to experience high turnover, HR and clinical fines, uncontrollable expenses, and low resident satisfaction. No one wants that. ProCare HR is the only HR solution exclusively serving the care industry. And if you're ready to get control of your labor management, reach out to ProCare HR at procarehr.com. Thank you, thank you. Well, I want to go ahead and bring my guest on today. I have Jon Scott Williams, who is the Executive Director at Fellowship Square in Mesa. Welcome to Tech Tuesday, Jon.
Oh, welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I am so thrilled you're here. So we had a colleague connect us recently, Bob Roth of Cypress Home Care. And Bob said, you know what, you got to meet Jon Scott Williams. And he is someone who is using technology at his community, and you've got to see what they're doing. So because I'm located here in Phoenix, Arizona, I went to Fellowship Square in Mesa. And I got to tell you guys, I was blown away with the way that they're using technology at their community. I did not expect it, but I can't tell you how impressed I am with what you're doing.
Well, thank you. That's a award of honor coming from you, Abbie, with all your background in technology. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for being here. And I wanted to know from you, could you introduce yourself to our viewers and tell them how long you've been to your community for, please?
Well, I started this second life of mine in 1986. I became interested in senior living. The organization I go to for church, they were sponsoring this organization, and they had some financial issues, and I was seen as a financial expert. I went over, I fell in love with the whole operation. The idea of caring for the elderly hit my heart, and I made a change. So since 1986, I've been involved for 11 years as a volunteer. And the last 27 years, I've been on the payroll. And I've always been here at Fellowship Square Mesa.
Awesome. I love it. I love how you say that it hit your heart. There's so many of us who are in senior living because it's impacted our heart in one way or another. You know, I grew up with my Nana and Papa, and I have a deep love and admiration for older adults. And I've heard story after story after story of people who will say, you know, they're doing what they're doing because they've been impacted on a deeply emotional level. So I love that. And how did you get tech started at your community?
Every time that we had an issue come up, it usually came from a resident. And we started back in 2005. Some residents wanted to be able to have access to the internet.
What?
2005.
Are you kidding me? No, I'm kidding.
This was back whenever you had a modem. Remember 28,
Yeah.
56, and went to 128K modems. It was back at that time, and we had no way of doing it. And at that time, the equipment to do that for 65 modems was $12,500. And I was able to get a gift from one of our residents, and we were able to match it. And we started in the tech business at that time, and it would handle up to 65 modems. We have 333 units, so there wasn't a lot of interest at the time, but the people that wanted it in a big way. And it went from there to, let's say, fast forward to 2019. We had been using a slideshow on one of our TV channels with the menu, and we had developed or found a program made in England that would actually read written words, so you didn't have to script, and they could read the menu, because my residents with visual impairment, they couldn't read the menu even when it was on the TV screen. So it would read it out loud. It would follow the punctuation, and they were able, instead of having to call the front desk, "What's for lunch today?" They were able to be independent.
But
That's
does it tell you if the mail has arrived or not?
not at that time. That's whenever we went to the Alexas. We've got
Okay.
Alexas in, and the Alexas, that saves 300 calls a day. And
Amazing.
it will, you just ask Alexa, "Alexa, has the mail come in today?" And it will tell you, "Not yet," or "Yes, it has." And that's a valuable question. Everyone in the business knows the mail. Uh, they're even happy to get the mail from the advertisements because someone sent them something. So
Yeah, yeah. It's a very, very important question. We all know that and understand that. What technology are you currently using?
there's a plethora. We have a very robust program. Uh, if I
Okay.
if I started to think about it, uh, we initially went with electronic medical records because of the ROI. Uh,
Hmm.
we then we went and we added uh, over the top or streaming capabilities to all the other residents because we needed a Wi-Fi backbone. Once you have the Wi-Fi backbone, then you can add things. Now we have electric, we have vacuum cleaners, we have all of our locks. I can open and close all the locks on the doors from one point. We have the TV, what's on TV, how do you feel, apps, the Wi-Fi entry locks. During COVID, I was told to lock down the buildings so that people couldn't get in because we were afraid of outsiders bringing disease in. And I had it priced out, and it was between $90,000 and $150,000. And I looked one day and I saw these Ring cameras that the light would come on if it saw motion. And I said, "Hey, it doesn't know if it's motion or if it's connecting to the switch on the electric door." So I said, "We should be able to figure that out." And we got a hold of a company, and they said, "Oh yeah, we just need a relay." So instead of spending 90 to 150,000, it only cost me $8,000 to install remote door unlocking mechanism using Ring cameras. And from my iPhone or from the front desk, we can open and close any of the doors residents need to get through. And we have a picture of who's coming in. So, and to the resident, all they do is press the doorbell. It's a simple, it's
So
what they normally do. They don't even know so much computer is being used or technology But that
I,
was it.
I want to ask you about how you've been able to use technology to save on labor and to really be able to allocate caregivers and staff so that they're doing things that they love doing. Like, for instance, when I came to your community, I noticed that you have several of the D-bots, right? That
Sorry, popping in again and still muted, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm not an expert at being live like Abbie is. So we're having a little bit of tech difficulties. She'll be back up and running soon. Yeah, so Jon, tell me a little bit about the D-bots Abbie was talking about and the tech that's running in your community right now.
Well, we had two things. Two things happened, and the reason why we went to the robot
Mhm.
mops, is since COVID, we haven't been able to have an adequate workforce, and to leverage my housekeepers, the job they hate doing is mopping. That's a hard, difficult job. And we went out and bought these D-bot apparatus. I chose to go with a lot of little moppers rather than the huge mopper. I just wanted to keep it simple and easy for my housekeepers. All they have to do is change the dirty water, put in fresh water. All the work is done between 2 and 6 o'clock in the morning. And that saves hundreds of hours of mopping the common area hallways. And the ROI is every one of those cost about $1,200, and we get it back, we figure, in 2.5 months. And unlike a housekeeper, if a housekeeper get injured, I have to take care of that person.
Mhm.
But if the mop quits, I just throw it out the door and get a new one. So
Yeah, so that's definitely what's like benefiting your staff the most for sure, huh?
and then they're not having to do the job that is backbreaking. Mopping to done right requires you to change the water over and over again. And if they do it right, it takes about 2.5 hours, but they don't have 2.5 hours to mop a hallway. So
Yeah.
these mops, they do it and they love it, and it's done at night. The residents don't even know. They say, "What are those things in the corner?" Uh, the funniest story is I went in one day to make sure the water was being changed. The water had been taken out, but someone was using it as a trash can. They thought it was some fancy trash can, and so we put a little sign on it, and that took care of that.
Um, and on the opposite side of the equation, which tech is their residents appreciating the most right now?
The one that they like the most is the Alexa system that we were able to put in. That allows them to use their voice. They don't have to touch anything. We went to the Alexas uh, just just before COVID, but we went to them in a big way during COVID, and that allowed us to, without having to have a password. There's no tablet to carry around, nothing to log in. They could take and say, "How are you feeling today?" And then we would go through the COVID screening test, and if it came back positive, we would take and send that information, call them back and say, "You want us to call your doctor? You want us to get you to the hospital? What is it that you want us to do?" And that saved a lot of frustration during that time. And then whenever with the Alexas, we started increasing the features to where they can ask, "What's for lunch? What's the soup today? What's the pie? What's the dessert?" All of those are additional 300 questions a day. Even though we give all that out in writing, it's on every TV screen. There's special screens for independent memory and assisted living. People just like wanting to know, and they don't want to. And if you can't tell them, then they get frustrated. They call the front desk. Now we're in a situation that Alexa takes care of it. And for the some of my residents um, have Parkinson's, and the trimmer that comes with Parkinson's, they can just say, "Alexa, what time is Gunsmoke on?" or "What time is the football game?" And it comes back and tells you the times and the channels. Then you say, "Alexa, remind me 2 o'clock Gunsmoke, channel 86." It comes on, and if you have the right TV, then you say, "Alexa, change the TV to channel 86. So all of those things, it doesn't require a password. There's no tablet. It's easy to use. And some of the things like the Wi-Fi thermostats, if they can't figure it out, and we have huge numbers on them, if they can't figure it out, they just call the front desk, and then the front desk can take and adjust the temperature to the temperature that they want. It's unbelievable. It's very simple, and the residents love it.
And what are the savings on something like that?
Well, whenever we put the thermostats in, the initial savings was $4,600 a month just in electric bills.
Wow.
Now, that's the first month times 12.
Mm-hmm.
Second year times 12. Third year, that's the money that we saved initially. I also saved having my staff going out and adjusting the thermostat in the apartment. Our residents are wonderful. They have stories, but you're not in a position that you can take and just go in 2 minutes, fix the thermostat, because there's a lot of questions that come on with it, and you'll end up doing a lot more. We figured I saved 40 hours a week in an FTE by having the Wi-Fi thermostats. And most of the time, it's a very simple adjustment, but just because of the acuity of the residents or because of the timing, they're not in a position to understand what's going on. But the front desk now can do that without leaving the front desk. I can adjust the thermostats from my house. If a resident says it's too hot, too cold, I can adjust it from my house. It makes handling those issues tremendously easy. And that maintenance guy, instead of fiddling around with the thermostat, he's out doing maintenance. And that leverages his time because we don't have enough maintenance. We don't have enough housekeepers. We don't have enough caregivers. We don't have enough dietary. I don't know where the workforce went, but I'm going to say we're about 15% short.
Jon, today I'm probably going to end up being a co-host. I've never done this before, been on live like this. This is hilarious. And you're doing great, by the way, answering these questions.
Well, thank you.
I just want to put up a question from Dalen Newton. He says, by adding technology, are you finding this helps your team be more efficient? Are you also finding it is making you hire people with more technical skills to help troubleshoot? What do you think about that?
Well, because there's two things. If the technology is being adapted by the residents, you have to have a champion who understands residents, and they need more of a marketing and a people background. If it's technology that just impacts the building, you can use your own IT people. Usually they're overwhelmed. But the efficiency comes in that I'm leveraging, like whenever I did it with the caregivers, we went with electronic medical records. The efficiency there was when you have assisted living, and many of my caregivers, they're excellent caregivers, but English may be their second language. Whenever you take and call in, and this happens in assisted living all the time, the doctor would tell the caregiver, change the dosage from 2 pills a day to half a pill, drop this medication, add this medication. That's a lot of information for English as a second language. We went to electronic medical records and we used Celebus, which is here in Phoenix. And what they do is the doctor no longer tells my caregiver if he's making a change. It goes electronically to the pharmacist. The pharmacist looks at the medication and makes sure there's no contraindication of using that medication. Then it appears on the screen. And once it's on the screen, then my caregivers dispense the medication following all of the protocols we have for dispensing medication. That's very efficient and reduces the number of lawsuits you'll have for wrong medication, wrong time, wrong way, wrong place. I have had no medication errors since we went with that system about 5 years ago now.
That's awesome. And then we also have another question. Thank you for those in the chat, by the way. I'm new at this, so this is awesome. Another question. How are you finding certain technologies are empowering new hires?
Well, whenever we show them, like on the mop machines that we use. The housekeepers, that's not an area that they have to do. They still mop in the individual apartments. I just don't have enough of those machines to do the apartments as well. But that helps. Whenever we show the electronic medical records, caregivers are very caring, and they don't, and they're also in a position that they don't want to be overwhelmed with the responsibility of making changes in the medication. Whenever you take and have a system like this, the medication is on the screen. They know that it's been checked by the doctor and the pharmacist. They're not putting their own family at risk by doing something that may or may not be correct. The screen is always correct. And if they follow the screen, they know that we'll protect them if there's ever a problem. We're only doing what the doctor has told us to do, but we're doing it with electronic backup. Very efficient and very comforting if you're the caregiver dispensing medication.
100%.
Welcome back, Abbie. I just want to just lead you into this because you might have missed a little bit of the questions. I think next you're going to start asking Jon a little bit about advising another community on where they want to go with tech. And for everyone watching, I'll be here behind the scenes. I'll pop out again, but if Abbie's gone, you'll have me back. But I'm sure you want her back for sure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Jon, I want to make sure that when someone who's watching who wants to now get on board with technology, if you were advising a community in this way, what would be the steps that you would encourage them to take?
Well, you need a couple of things. And in my case, I had to get, I'm not in charge. I'm the executive director here. That means there's a CEO. I had to convince my CEO that technology wasn't just a fad or something that would come and be a big paperweight. So whenever I explained the ROI on electronic medical records, that gave me the ability to put in an enterprise-grade Wi-Fi system. You're not just talking about hotspots in the dining room or in the office or the library. You need an enterprise-wide Wi-Fi system. That's your first thing that you need. And then you need someone who can integrate, not just put in the Wi-Fi system, but can get you gadgets that hook up to that system to make things more efficient and your residents have a better experience. And I found that company, and they're here. They do work nationwide, but they're an integrator of the systems. We use RCare. They're a dealer in RCare. We use other systems, and they're the dealer in those systems, which allows us, I don't have to have somebody put in the Wi-Fi and then somebody else put in the mag locks on the gates that we use that tie into the Wi-Fi. But those mag locks, I'm not a dealer on those. I don't know. You have to call somebody else. I want one nick to choke if any of my gadgets aren't working. That's what makes it efficient. If you have 20 suppliers, vendors of equipment, but when that equipment fails, you've got to go to 20 different people. That's not efficient. So you need a plan to get a Wi-Fi backbone, and then you need someone who can integrate that and engineer your building. 20-story tower Wi-Fi systems are very different from 3-story, 16-acre properties like mine. The Wi-Fi has to be engineered for the type of building that you have. Once you have that, then you can modestly add systems by getting the enterprise-grade Wi-Fi because it protected the electronic medical records from lawsuits. Then I was able to expand that to resident engagement to where they could do over-the-top, and our residents have been doing over-the-top for a long time, where they can do Netflix and streaming and all of those items, which allows them, whenever I look at my programs that are being used, Netflix and those streaming apps are by far more used than our regular programming that we have.
I would not have thought that, but thank you for saying that. Obviously, you have the tracking. And, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to connect with you about this?
Well, I have an email address, and that works. I respond to email very easy, and I also have a phone number if you want to talk to me. But the email is JONSCOTT .Williams WILLIAMS @ChristianCare.org, and I'll answer all emails. I'll give you any information that you need in order to, I want people to innovate my innovations and then share them with me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I want to ask you one last question. What do you wish was invented already that's not out there?
Well, I live on a golf course, and there's most of the people have golf carts where they're driving those things around. But I see every now and then there's a guy that is walking, but he has a golf cart that's walking in front of him. I don't know how it does that, but that same mechanism should be on all of our walkers, our rolling walkers, so that it'll go and park. And then when you need it, hey, partner, come over here. So then the walker comes to you, and you don't have to have it right in front of you. And for the time that you're on the couch or you're sitting, your hardware is not there. But when you need it, you just say, hey, Trigger, come here. And
That's right.
That's what I think should be invented.
Love it. I love it. So for those of you who are watching, who are inventing new products, or if you're with the Age Tech Collab, make a retriever. It's a retriever walker, right? Retriever.
Okay, that's a good name. Hey, Retriever, come here.
Yeah. Well, there is Labrador. Have you seen Labrador?
No.
Yes, there is Labrador. It is a way for you to move things within your home. So you get assisted support that way. And it's a beautiful, beautiful device. I'm going to send you the link in afterwards.
Love to see it.
Yeah, I think you'll like it a lot. Well, thank you for sticking with us today. I know we had some tech issues, and I probably even
yeah, so there's one little last tech issue to wrap up the show, and it's hilarious because me and Abbie always joke about, there's no Tech Tuesday without tech issues. So this has been really fun and exciting. Thank you, Jon, for helping and moving along the conversation. You were great today. Thank you for all the viewers, the people in the comments. You guys were helping. That was awesome. And without further ado, thank you. Abbie will be back next Tuesday, and I will play out the outro. Bye, everyone.
Bye.